So when I was young, I was never really in a position or had parents that really taught me a lot about financial education or financial literacy. So growing up and when I became an adult, I didn't really have a strong foundation in regards to being able to manage my money and my finances in the best way possible. But luckily for me, I learned very early in life some very important lessons in regards to managing my money. And while I'm not like a certified public accountant or anything like that or a finance major, these lessons might just change your life in regards to how you manage or how you look at money in general, and then just set a strong foundation for you to be able to be very financial literate going forward. So let's get straight into it. So the first and most important lesson I probably learned when I was, coming up as a young adult is that saving money is it's so much more important than making money. People are always thinking, hey, how much money am I making? Hey, how can I make more money? Hey, which job is offering the most? And while that stuff is important, I think people don't really pay attention to the most important factor is not how much you make, it's really how much you keep. Because when you look at it, if you make a certain amount, say 80K, you look at it, a good portion of that with federal taxes, state taxes, Medicare, Social Security, health insurance, is already coming out your check. It's never really $80,000 that you're starting with. You're already starting well below that mark. But when you look at saving, that savings is directly one for one how much you will keep in your pocket. Say, for example, you find a way to save $100 a month. Say, for example, you take your cable bill off, or, you knock off your car payment or something, and you're saving $100 a month. There's no one coming in and saying, okay, let me tax you on top of that $100 to, hey, take 20% off that since you're saving some more money. No, that is a one for one for you. So I think people and we all just need to turn our attention so much more towards saving the money and not making the money. And I think as a society, we kind of get caught up in that just a little bit too much in regards to making money. And that kind of goes into my second lesson. It's very important to actually budget your money. When I got to college, I had a whole bunch of scholarships. And the way my university worked is they just sent it all to the financial department, and they were like, hey, that's way too much money. So they sent me a $6,000 check back cash my first semester as an 18-year-old. And I was like, oh, bet. Oh, bet. I promise you, I do not know where that money went to this day. Granted, I probably bought some nice clothes, some nice shoes, nice games or something with it. But if I knew back then how to budget my money, I wouldn't be without $6,000. I'd probably be with a lot more than $6,000 with just that money alone, because I would have put it in places that'll help me make money. A lot of people think budgeting is tedious, restrictive, and whatnot, and I can't disagree anymore. I think budgeting is a way of kind of liberating and being a lot more stress-free in regards to being able to manage your finances. It's like you could spend money on whatever you want to spend it on. Just because you budget don't mean you can't spend money on the things you want to spend money on. Budgeting just helps you put it all in context of what exactly you're spending. So if you want to have a $500 eat out budget, I wouldn't recommend it, chill out a little bit. But if you want to have a $500 budget, then you just have to account for that in the grand scheme of all the things you're spending, so that you won't be in a position whereas you're spending more money than you have coming in, and then you starting to develop bad debt, bad money habits and whatnot. And I have a video in the description below that kind of covers, the budgeting software I use, Monarch Money, and kind of gives you kind of some insight on just tips and tricks on how to budget. And as we're talking about spending more money than you're making, I'll get into the third and final important lesson in regards to being more financially literate and building financial success in the future. And that's knowing the dangers of bad debt. Around the same time that I was getting a $6,000 refund check for my first semester in college, at that same time, I wanted to, build my credit score, because I knew credit score was important. So I went and got a Discover credit card. When I tell you, like, I would not really focus on, paying it off. It was a lot of times where I would just pay the minimum each month that I owed. And I quickly learned, like, hey, I'm paying so much more paying the minimum than if I just paid it all off in totality. And that's because these credit cards hit you with 10 plus, 15 plus, 20 plus % interest rates. And that busts you over the head in the long run, because something that's about $100, can quickly turn into $120, $140 in the long run if you're not paying it off when you should be paying it off. And that'll quickly start siphoning money out your pocket, where you think, hey, I'm not spending any more money. I'm not doing anything different, but I'm losing more money. It's because you're just having these phantom debt repayment costs, these interest, payments that you're paying on stuff that you already thought you bought. you're paying more on it in the long run. And I quickly learned that, and I got to the point I was saying every month. And what I had did as I scheduled it, for Discover, and now I schedule it for every, credit card that I have, is I schedule my payments to pay the balance in full every month, so it'll never be the case where I'm paying interest debt on things that I've already paid for. So whereas, credit cards have their benefits and it's great to have credit cards in a lot of situations, just make sure that you're not taking on the bad effects of those credit cards by taking on a lot of bad debt, not paying your full balances each month and ended up paying more on the credit card than the value of the benefits that you're getting from the credit card. So yeah, those are 3 lessons I learned as a young adult on how to manage my money a lot better, becoming a lot more financially literate, where I didn't learn these things growing up. A lot of people don't learn these things growing up. So these things may sound simple to you if you know these things, but just know it's not simple to everyone. A lot of people aren't equipped with these tools. So now I encourage you, if you know some strong financial lessons that someone may be able to take on, please leave them down in the comment section below, because it might be someone looking at this video that may be like, hey, I never even knew that was even possible. I'm gonna try that, or I'm gonna look more into that. So do that, and you never know how positive you may affect someone's life, or how, just your comments can educate someone. So thank you all for watching and listening. Please like, comment, subscribe if you're feeling it, and thank you. Peace.